Ding, ding, ding. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. It is so good to have you here today. On this video, I'm feeling inspired to come on and talk a little bit more about Tantra massage, and in this episode specifically, how can it benefit your sex life? Tantra massage has become a very big buzzword in the last couple of years. And as a practitioner of this work over the last 6 years, I have been witnessing more and more healers who are beginning to step into this field. As always, Tantra massage is not a regular massage. We are not licensed massage therapists, and we do not address knots and pulls and things that are happening in the body through like the physical level. Where the Tantra massage really comes in powerfully is in the energetic aspect, as well as the emotional and mental bodies. In order to understand the full capacity of what tantric massage experience involves, we have to start seeing ourselves beyond the body and into our energy body. We have to understand that our emotional and mental and spiritual body are in its own layers. Whereas where you go to get a regular deep tissue massage, they are mostly working on your physical body. This is where they can work with the biomechanics. They help to rotate, move, pull out the knots. All of that is wonderful and also very necessary. I personally really enjoy Thai massage for my style of physical therapeutic work. But not only is Thai massage physically therapeutic, the traditional Thai massage deeply goes into the activation and understanding of the meridian lines, the pathways, the channels that our energy moves through in our body. And during Thai massage, you go and you activate specific points within the body so that the energy can flow. And so that's probably one of the reasons why I like Thai massage over deep tissues, because it does touch not just on the physical body, but also on the energetic body. And as a woman who's really connected to my energetic awareness, I really love style of body work where things can flow and I can actually feel it. And so in the tantric massage, we are not just touching on the physical body, but we're also touching on the entire human experience. And so a lot of times people can have memories, emotions, feelings that are coming through their experience that they might not be expecting. And that's because Tantra massage works deeply in the energetics. And this is why I love this style of work, is because we are tapping into the deeper parts of who you are. And most people in this world right now are asleep. They have no idea that they are so much more beyond just flesh and bones. But for those of us who are waking up and who are getting in touch with our energetic existence, we understand that there is more to us. And so when we begin to work on ourselves internally through practices of meditation, yoga, self-development, internal reflections, we might come to a block that we can no longer go through with our traditional spiritual practice. And so this is where Tantra massage could be considered, especially in the realms of sexual healing and sexual blocks. Okay, so because the Tantra massage involves the energy body, we don't have to know exactly what's going on, but we have to understand that whenever something is blocked, the energy will begin to move, okay? And this is why people sometimes have really intense experiences, because they were not prepared to, let's say, address a memory that would come through from an abuse that they had, or a really unpleasant sexual experience, or even like a traumatic birth, which is a very traumatic sexual experiences for a lot of women. And so in the Tantra massage, we allow ourselves to surrender to the infinity and the guidance of the energy that is available to us. I'm gonna have a sip of water. Somebody's asking me if I am in Austin. No, I am not. I am currently in Fort Lauderdale. Before I became a tantric bodywork artist, I was really deeply focused onto my studies of sexology and understanding pleasure and anatomy of sexual organs and the understanding of how sexual arousal takes place through the body. Before I started practicing with clients, I was working and practicing with my partner at the time. And so Tantra massage became an essential part of our foreplay. I would love to take some time in the beginning to massage his body, to arouse him, to turn him on, to play with different strokes and sensations in order to understand his body better. And then as we started practicing tantric massage on each other, it really created a sense of bonding and closeness for us, as in that space there was no goal in mind, but rather pleasure, surrender, and receptivity. The issue with modern day sexuality is that most men and women look at sex as an act of performance in order to get to a specific goal. Usually it's an orgasm. Once you have an orgasm, that's it. The night is done and you usually go to sleep or move on with the rest of your day. Whereas in Tantra, we don't look at anything we do, whether it's tantric sex or tantra massage, we don't look at it with a sense of achieving a particular goal, but rather being able to be fully present in the moment and activate the energies that are available to us. And so the practice of Tantra massage can be a wonderful addition to any couple who are struggling with deeper intimacy in their relationship. When we take away the element of needing to get somewhere and needing to perform, we release a lot of unnecessary stress that keeps us contained in a really small box of what we are able to actually feel and experience. And so through the practice of tantric massage, we open up this box and we surrender to the magic and the energies that are available when we let go of that goal mind orientation. And so not only is it extremely pleasurable and fun to both give and receive this style of massage, but also it's very enlightening and educating to learn about your partner and understand their body better. Because once you learn what really turns your partner on and how their energy moves and where their energy is blocked, then you can start becoming healers for one another. And that's what I like to say. It's not just about fucking each other, but it's about loving and healing one another. And so can you imagine what our world would look like if the couples all around the globe are becoming healers for one another and actually practicing in a way that is healing and nurturing and nourishing to the body, to the mind, and to the soul? Versus where regular sexual intercourse, sometimes it's still amazing and you do feel great from having an orgasm. But as a woman, from my experience, sometimes physical penetration alone can be very exhausting and it can be very taking on the body. Whereas where we introduce more subtle energetic experiences, whether it's through tantric sex, through tantric meditation, through yab yam meditation, or through tantra massage, in those spaces my body has a lot more space to surrender, to soften, to go into the deep states of feminine surrender, through which my partner naturally takes on his masculine energy. And in the masculine and feminine, the yab yung, we actually get to connect closer to God and experience more divinity through each other. And so in a way, tantric relating, is a shift of mindset to open up the possibilities for something beyond what you currently are available and are familiar with. And so in my couples tantra initiations, what I really love to do is to take the couples on a journey of becoming a priest and priestesses of this sacred work. And generally, I teach the woman how to give the man tantra massage, including lingam and sacred spot. And I teach the man how to give woman a sacred heart massage, which is the breast activation, and then the yoni and the G-spot activation. And so we can bring these simple practices into our bedroom and take away sex as the ultimate goal, and we can play with more tools. Our whole experience becomes a lot more vibrant and expansive and a lot more fun. And then in that way you also get to awaken the inner healer, awaken the inner god and goddess, and to actually merge with your beloved on multidimensional levels. Okay, and this is where I, as the practitioner of tantric work for the last 6 years, love to do and to teach my clients, is how can we take your sex life, your relationship, your love life to the next level? And what is the next level? Okay, in my experience, the reason why I even started Sacred Muse Tantra and the work that I do is because I realized the big gap in our societal collective as a missing point between A, men going and cheating on their wives with an escort, or B, men going to cheap Asian parlors and having quickie hand jobs to get a simple sexual satisfaction. So there was these 2 points that I saw, and then there was a gap in between. And the gap in between is that some men didn't really want to cheat on their husbands. They did not really want to have sex. And other men, they did not want to have this icky, yucky, cheap Asian parlor experience. So what was missing in between? In between, what was missing is connection, is intimacy, and depth through Tantra, which you get to discover. And so because I saw the void in the collective, the work that I'm doing now is filling in the void, where men that come to me can get themselves filled up with love, with nourishment, with feminine essence, so then they can return back into their families full and whole, so they can continue on giving and being the divine masculine. Or for men who are single, who want to be more empowered in their sexuality, who want to feel more confident with their bodies, with the way that they look, with the way that their body is, and the way that they feel sexual energy. There is a big gap in our collective of distorted sexuality. And on my previous video, I went really deep into a transmission about pornography and the negative side effects that it has on our collective masculine psyche and also the feminine psyche. And so what do we do in our world today when we see that there is a missing opportunity and you have a solution? This is where you get to rise up into your power. Okay, this is where you get to create something that is really necessary in this world, and only you will be able to present it in the unique way with the unique frequency that God has gifted to you. And so for me, that gift is of tantric bodywork. And my Tantra massage incorporates shamanic elements of breath work, of drumming, of activating the energetic body with crystal bowls and tuning forks. And with the breath, we activate the DMT so that you can be more fully present in the body. And then we go into the body work. And to me, my body work is my art. Yes, you can learn the techniques of how to massage the body, but it's not just about massaging the body. What I'm going to is actually touching your soul. I'm actually calling forth your highest essence, your heart, your soul to come forth so that you can feel yourself better, deeper, so that you can tune into that part of you that so many people have forgotten about or don't even remember about. And so through tantric bodywork, not only do you receive benefits of physical relaxation, of better connection to your body, to your sex, to your heart, you get to feel your energy body, you get to notice what's going on in your head, what's going on in your heart, what's going on in your sex. You get to actually attune to these different aspects of you and then internally integrate them into your heart. So that when you leave my temple, you're leaving whole and wholesome, so that your cup is overflowing, so that you can go ahead and share your light with the world, with your family, with your business, with whomever. The problem with many men in the world today is that they are walking depleted. They are overworked. They are overdone things. They're in their heads. And so he cannot show up for his wife fully when he himself isn't full. And in a lot of relationships today, women don't feel that sexual erotic charge for their husbands, and so they look at sexuality as a chore, as something that they have to do as a wifely duty, rather than something that you get to do to connect intimately with your beloved. Sex is a gift that's been given to us by God, to be performed in the necessity of a union, of a marriage, of a consensual, loving, romantic union. And so when we look at sex as something that we have to do, as a chore, as something that we don't want to do, but we do it, do you see there's like a disconnection? And I personally, in the years of my studies of female and male sexuality, I personally trust that every woman is an insatiable goddess who can receive unlimited amount of pleasure as far as her body can handle it. Okay, so when a woman says she doesn't like sex, that's a really big red flag, and I have so many questions that I would want to inquire about. Because if you don't like sex, something is off. Sexuality is one of the most beautiful physical experiences that we can have here on earth. And so when something doesn't feel right in that area for you, there is some work to be addressed there. Okay? And so I understand the aspects of relationships on a very deep level, as I do work with couples and men who are literally in that space. Men who are either hardworking men, who are doing all their duties, who are working and spending time with their family and showing up for their families, but they're not getting that sense of feminine nurture at home. Probably for many reasons as to why the wife is disconnected. And if you want to go deeper with me on that, I'm happy to support you. And on the feminine side, for a woman to truly enjoy sexuality, she has to have an emotional connection. She has to feel the feels before you take her to the bedroom. And so what's cool is for you to learn the difference between feminine and masculine arousal. And the fact that the men, they can just boom, get up and go, honey, I'm ready, let's do this. Whereas with women, if you come to her in the middle of her washing dishes or doing laundry, like, honey, I'm ready, let's go, she's gonna look at you like, are you crazy? Can't you see I'm busy? A woman needs mental, emotional stimulation way before you actually request physical sexual play. And so if you wanna turn your woman on, your work starts that morning. If you wanna have sex in the evening after you come home from work, your foreplay starts in the morning with a romantic morning cuddle, with telling her goodbye with a big juicy smooch, perhaps sending her some flowers or some chocolates if she's at the office or to the house, surprising her, whatever her love language is. Throughout the day, sending her a little cute text or maybe like a little dirty sexy emoji, however you guys communicate. And when you come home, giving her that attention. Saying hi to your wife as the first thing when you come home. Because guess what? To all the men that are listening, the most important person in a man's life is his wife. It's his chosen woman that he has chose to walk alongside him. And so if your wife is not your priority, then don't be surprised why your sex life is also lacking. Okay? And I know it's hard in our modern day life to put our wives as priorities when men are drowning in bills and responsibilities and office. And that's a whole conversation I can take you on the corruption of our society and the attack on the sacred family unit. Okay? Because now the wives are disconnected from the husbands and the children are disconnected from the fathers because they're working, they're not at home. And then sometimes you hire nannies or you take your kids to daycare, and who's raising your children? And so that's a whole another topic. And so in this video today, I've shared with you guys the elements and the importance of Tantra massage and how bringing Tantra massage into your relationship can highly influence and benefit your sexual experience. And also I went over some other important elements as far as relationships goes and the feminine and the masculine polarity and how to really create that charge and that spark. And sexuality is something that we have to learn. I'm 33 right now. At 33, I know things that I had no idea about before. And my first sexual empowered experience didn't happen until I was 28. I didn't have my first ejaculation until I was 28. Can I have a minute? I'm recording a video, please. Thank you. No. What are you doing in the other room?
Just trying to cool down for a second.
All right. Well, yeah, that was an important conversation, you guys. And you're right. Trauma, abuse, past experiences, and hormonal. And this is another really big thing, you guys, about hormones. There is this whole big propaganda around women and their menopause that is completely destroying the view of the sacred feminine as she matures, okay? In American society and in many societies across the globe, basically they say when a woman hits menopause, her hormones go down, she becomes an old hag, and she doesn't want to have sex anymore, or her yoni dries up, and she's not a sexual goddess anymore. And I'm here to tell you, after years of research and reading all the tantric books and all the books around feminine sexual powers, that is so false. That is false, okay? When in truth, a woman becomes a sage. She becomes a crone after her menopause. And her sexual power actually multiplies and magnifies because she is now no longer in the state of conception. So after the woman has menopause, she can no longer get pregnant. So now she can have sex all she wants without the fear of having unwanted pregnancy. And now her hormones are more stabilized. Okay, usually women like 45 to 55 have a more stabilized hormonal flow. Once the menopause goes and moves through what it needs to move, eventually it restabilizes. And if a woman is working on her sexual mastery, she is masturbating, she is sexually active, she is doing the things to continue her health, afterwards she can actually awaken into a lot more sexual power. And so that is an important aspect, because I've been seeing in our society that a lot of older women are not looked at with the graciousness for who they truly are. Okay, and I always say that sex gets better with age. If it's not getting better with age, then you're doing something wrong, or you're doing it with the wrong person. And so menopause is a really empowering stage for many women's life. And once she's complete with it, she returns to being a beautiful and powerful crone who is a lot more sexually empowered and has something that maidens don't. Okay, so keep that in mind. So thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in, saying hello to you. Hello, Empress of Dragon. Hello. Yes, so I feel pretty complete. If you guys are just popping on, come back and rewatch this video. We talked about Tantra massage and relationships. Oh, speaking of Tantra massage and birth, okay, I'm going to tell you something. I recently had a sister who gave birth to a beautiful girl, and she had a really challenging pregnancy. Not pregnancy, labor. She had a really challenging labor. And from my understanding, during her 9 months of labor, baby daddy wasn't in the picture. She didn't have any sexual penetration or yoni stimulation work. And so she couldn't open enough to actually bring the baby forth. Whereas I have another couple who are in a really beautiful, powerful, loving union, and throughout her pregnancy, they were having a lot of lovemaking, a lot of yoni massage and yoni stimulation, and that one was able to give birth at home, free home birth, no doctors, no doulas, no midwife. Okay, and so that just goes to show the power of working with our genitals, and not just genitals for sexual orgasmic satisfaction, but actually for labor and for bringing children onto this planet. And so this work is very deep, you guys, and it can touch you on many profound levels. So keep that in mind. All right, I feel pretty complete on that note. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. It was super yummy to come on and talk to you guys about these important topics. And until I see you next time, I will see you then. Ciao.